Before I get started with this commentary, let me give a shout out to Blackjack20 on Twitter for sending this to me. And he titled, when he sent this to me, he captioned it, "Another Brock Turner." When I heard that, I said, up, here we go. I already know where this is headed. But this one is actually slightly worse than Brock Turner because of what happened before and what happened afterwards. So in this picture, and actually this for me is actually more so about the judge than it is the person who was convicted of what he actually did. But still, it lines up. So this person's name is Robert K. Adrian, as you can see right there on the name card, and I'm not going to call him honorable because what he did, in my opinion, should be dishonorable, and he deserves all the backlash that he's currently getting. And this judge is out of Illinois, and this guy convicted a now 18-year-old for sexually assaulting this 16-year-old girl. And this guy ended up reversing the conviction of the 18-year-old, meaning he found the 18-year-old guilty of sexual assault and then reversed it and took the guilty verdict back. So now the 18-year-old who did this is about to walk scot-free. That's why I said this is worse, because at least with Brock Turner, he was found guilty and they kept it there. The thing that pissed people off with Judge Aaron Persky, who's no longer a judge, thank God, is that he kept reducing the sentence. Because remember, Brock Turner was supposed to do like a year, then it went down to 6 months, and then it went down to 3. The only really good thing that came out of this is that with Brock Turner, he was never able to find like gainful employment. Because I remember the last story I did about Brock Turner, they said that he was trying to like look for jobs and everything like that, but nobody would hire him. He probably thought with his white privilege that people would just like forget about it. Oh, it was just this little thing, and they would move on. But no, apparently more people knew about his story than a little bit. And hopefully the same thing happens here, in that they can get this one to have the same effect. But who knows? But let me go ahead and read this article. It was posted January 13, 2022. An Illinois judge is facing heat for reversing an 18-year-old man's sexual assault conviction at the teen sentencing last week, saying the 148 days he spent in jail since his arrest was enough. So he's been in jail for 148 days, which is roughly about 4 months. I think that's about 4 months if my math is correct. Yeah, I think it's about a little over maybe 4 and 4.5 months. So he got about a month and some change more than Brock Turner did. And he came back and said 148 days was enough. He claimed that was enough time for him to learn his lesson. Meanwhile, you have black men in jail for a little bit of weed for way longer than that, or you have them in jail for convictions that they didn't for crimes they didn't even commit, and they don't find out or they don't get out until like 20, 30, sometimes 40 years later. And some are unfortunate enough to not even get out at all. They die in jail. And then that's when they want to come back and say, oh, we were wrong. My bad. He felt 148 days was enough. I'm curious to know what the actual amount of time he was supposed to actually do. But let's go ahead. Adams County Judge Robert Adrian issued the stunning reversal last Monday after finding Drew Clinton guilty of 1 count of criminal sexual assault at an October bench trial, the Herald Whig reported. Mr. Clinton has served almost 5 months in the county jail, 148 days, Adrian said, according to a court transcript obtained by the newspaper. For what happened in this case, that is plenty of punishment. That would be a just sentence. See what I mean when I tell you these judges ain't shit? Now keep in mind that the person who did this Drew Clinton who did this is PC. The young lady he did this to is also PC herself. This judge is PC. He got on code with him to get him off after 148 days in prison, and she's just basically left high and dry. If you remember, I did a video last year about a judge in New Hampshire that found this other PC male, probably around the same age as him, who was sexually assaulting and violating other young ladies who were minors with the help and assistance of his family, rotating them in and out like it was a brothel. And he got found not guilty. Either he got found not guilty or they dropped the charges or something like that. It was one of the two. Either way, he was able to walk out of that courtroom scot-free. Again, a PC male with a PC judge in the violation of other PC women. And this goes back to the video I did when I was talking about to black women. Never say that other groups of men treat their women better. Because look at what's going on here. It doesn't have to just be the thing of saying certain things or doing certain things in the physical realm. It's the fact that you have these judges that will let them walk away for violations like this against their own women. We've seen this time and time before. Now I wonder, did he get paid to do this? Because to just reverse this conviction after you just felt like you had a coming to Jesus moment and say, you know what? For 148 days, that's enough punishment. He actually said that. 148 days is enough. To be white, and particularly white male, in this establishment is a privilege in and of itself. That's why I be telling people, don't let PC tell you that white privilege isn't real. We have so many historical and even current present day examples. This is present day example number 1. Well, I take that back. This is even number 1, maybe 1,000. Clinton was convicted of sexually assaulting a 16-year-old girl at a graduation party last May, which was back in May of 2021. So she was a minor. If you want to do this, if he was 18 at the time, because I don't know what his age is, maybe he was 17 at the time, I don't know. He had faced a mandatory minimum sentence of 4 years. He went from 4 years to 4.5 months. What a huge reduction. Adrian's decision came after Clinton's attorneys filed 2 post-trial motions and the judge ruled prosecutors failed to prove their case, the newspaper reported. Following Adrian's ruling, the distraught victim went public with her story, recounting the sexual assault to reporters and detailing her emotional reaction when she learned Adrian was set free. I woke up at my friend's place with a pillow over my face so I couldn't be heard and drew Clinton inside of me, said Cameron Vaughn, WGEM. I asked him to stop multiple times and he wouldn't. I finally got off the couch and pushed him off of me and he jumped up and just started playing video games as if nothing happened. Vaughn says she immediately left the courtroom and cried in the bathroom after learning Clinton's conviction was tossed. The Quincy Area Network Against Domestic Abuse on Tuesday blasted the judge's decision. The verdict and Adrian's comments sent a chilling message to other violated victims that their behavior, not the violator, will be judged, the group said in a statement to WGEM. Shame the victims, free the violators. This judgment reinforces the fact that standards for women have always been impossibly high, while they are impossibly low for men. Vaughn's father described his daughter's devastation in an interview with the Herald Whig. It's worse now than it was before, because not only does she not have her justice, but now she feels like she spoke up for nothing. And you know that hurts, the father told the newspaper. Now she wishes she wouldn't have even said anything. And that's the entire article. That last part right there, that's a very potent statement where he said now she wishes she wouldn't have said anything. Because she said, basically saying, if I would have been able to tell the future and knew that this would have been the outcome, I would have kept this to myself because it would have been pointless for me to say anything if nothing was going to be done. Now, this is one of the instances where Me Too should get on this, but we know they not. Time's up. They ain't gonna hop on this. This is one of the times where they should actually be really putting this on blast, but they won't. They didn't do it for this. They didn't do it for the one in New Hampshire. They didn't do it for Brock Turner. But they had time to go after, but in that time, they had time to go after Bill Cosby, bring up stuff about Michael Jackson, who's been dead since 2009, go after R. Kelly. Now, recently, if y'all don't know, they're starting to go after Trey Songz. In case y'all didn't know, they are digging into the heels of Trey Songz right now. I don't know what's going to come of that. And now also, too, on top of that, Denzel with this Ellen Pompeo situation, this mess with her. So they had time to go after all these black men who are celebrities in their own right and prominent men, actors and singers, dead or alive. But you got these PC males who are walking away after actually committing the act in which you're supposed to be fighting against. Even these individuals on a lower level don't take Me Too seriously because they knew not to reach out to them. They probably know that they wouldn't do anything. Because Me Too at the end of the day is probably asking themselves, what's in it for us? Is there some kind of financial gain we can get out of this? Is there some way we can spin this to make this about us and less about the victim? It's probably what they're saying. So it's a waste of time. But that line right there where she says now she would, what the father said, now she wishes she wouldn't have said anything. In this instance, I can actually see why she said that, or why that claim was made. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments.